Blessings, everyone. I was asked to go a little bit further into helping you understand master level channeler because it is so unique and a little bit misunderstood. As I was getting ready to share with you the angel information that they asked me to share with you, God gave me a vision of how important it is that I open up about it. So here we go. You heard a whole bunch in the video before this one. In my what's called ascension process, when my guides came and reactivated me and called upon me to work for them, I began working for them immediately on a full-time basis. In that process, I had my primary guide was Stephen. I think at year 2, not even at year 2, I think it was about a year and a half, was allowed to see him. He looked like Shaq. He wears a white top, white pants, and had a purple sash, dark amethyst. And I was like blown away when I got to see him. And then I got to see a few of my other guides, and I got to see both of my angels, but I'm saving that for my angel video. And so I worked with that group for a long time. And I was aware of Kuan Yin, but I did not see her in those beginning years. A couple of years before I started my charity. I started my charity in 2013 off of her request. And by then I was allowed to see her in full form apparition, full color. I had worked up to being allowed to see her regularly. What was happening was I was moving up the ladder, so to speak. I worked with my first set of guides and angels, and by the time I was allowed to work for Kuan Yin on a regular basis, I had to work through proving myself through, they showed me and told me my ethics, level of purity, dedication, perseverance, devotion, obedience. They said obedience when they said I had to meditate, and it started out at first 15 minutes a day. I did 15, then they said 30, then it was 30, then it worked up to 45, then 45, then God said an hour, then it was an hour. Then they put me through more restrictions. There's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of work, a lot more than what you think goes on behind the scenes when it comes to sacrifices, restrictions, discipline. At one point, God gave me a message to help me understand master level channeler. God said, when He created my soul, He created me to be a master level channeler for the higher realms, which means that I work for the ascended masters, and in my case, it's the top 4 ascended masters: Jesus, Kuan Yin, Mary, and Buddha. He then, in his message, continued and said that I work for and serve the ascended masters and archangels, the highest levels in heaven, because my soul is evolved at a higher level. Kuan Yin said an advanced level with spiritual and psychic powers and abilities, and also ethics, and that I maintained them throughout my incarnations, and that I maintained them through this incarnation. I gave you that earlier example to show you how I worked from Stephen to Kuan Yin. Then from Kuan Yin, I kept going and then continued throughout the years and then earned the privilege of working for when Mother Mary called upon me, and then Buddha, and then Jesus. I'll give you a few analogies that they're giving me right now. God showed me only souls that are developed at an exceptional level with purity and also spiritual gifts will ascended masters work through on a full-time or even regular basis. Otherwise, they work through them on what's called a called upon or random level. Master level channelers are the ones that they work through on what's called a full-time basis. I could have, at any time in my incarnation, deviated with my ethics, deviated from my path, forsaken my spiritual gifts, walked away from them, chosen to not use them to help mankind and God and them. I could have chosen not to be obedient and not do all the things that they asked me to do, told me to do. If that had been the case, I wouldn't be working for them now. The master level channeler would not be on my website. I would not be allowed to talk about it. It would be what's called dimmed from me, and maybe my next incarnation, I would be allowed to own who I truly am, that title. And they showed me that. And I was like, dang, glad I didn't screw up. Here's why it's important also, and why God is asking me to speak out about it. In my ascension process, and I'll be sharing more about this on my blog and probably on this YouTube, when I attained principal full-time oracle for Jesus and then also for God, they officially took away my earth name, Maureen Allen, and God and Jesus required me. They didn't ask, they required me to embrace one of my heavenly names that I go by in heaven, which is Oracle Maureen. So my legal name has been Oracle Maureen for the last couple months now. When I made that name change, on some of updating my marketing, I forgot to put Master Channeler. God came to me and woke me up in the middle of the night and showed me how Master Level Channeler got dropped on a couple areas and said, God is asking you to go back and put your title, Master Channeler, back on your marketing to say who you are, because it is so rare, and it is going to explain to them why you get so many words. It explains why you get paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, which is so unique and rare. And I went, oh yeah. And they have made that a big deal since the very beginning. The clairaudience with a channeler is developed at a much, much higher level. A master level channeler is at an even higher level. He then showed me visions of my blog. My blog, if you've gone there, is quoted paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of any one of the five, any one of the four ascended masters and God, and then also any other guide or angel that God sends to me to give a message to you. The messages there are very difficult. A lot of them are political. They're only political because they're guiding you in the right direction, and they're warning you and they're steering you away from making a mistake. They're also in other areas of guiding you away from making a sin or a mistake. All of these areas are protecting you from creating a karmic consequence. All of those messages are very difficult for me to actually do once I'm back in my body. When they give me the visions, when I sit down and I write it in my notebook and I have to type it, it's actually effortless for me because I'm out of my body. They're in my body, they've taken me over, and I'm channeling it. When I'm back in my body and I'm proofreading it, I'm like, dang, they gonna hate me. They gonna be hanging little Maureen from the village square tonight, apparently. And then I hear, but God will reward you. And then I will see a blue ribbon come on my chest after I have the courage to actually publish it. And I have many, 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 many rewards banked from God and Jesus for my courage and bravery for those blogs on my website, which they may share with you on this YouTube. So as difficult as they are for me, and as difficult as they are for many of you to have to read, they've earned me gold coins, blue ribbons, huge bouquet of flowers, rings, which means big rewards, big blessings, big karmic gifts. If I hadn't had the courage to do it, I would have got what's called disciplined. I would have failed to have done my job for my superiors, is the reality. And that would have gotten me an actual karmic consequence. That's how real it is for me. The master level channeler is what allows me to get the paragraph after paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. If you look at my blog, God has expanded my clairaudience and all of my psychic gifts over my ascension process here on Earth, and the paragraphs have gotten longer and bigger the last couple years. The reason he wanted Master Level Channeler put back on all my marketing recently is because they and he have been giving me longer, more detailed channelings, and they are on all what's called current event topics to help guide and direct you into making choices that are going to help you create the karmic blessings for yourself and steer you away from making the mistake of creating karmic consequences for yourself. It is, Kuan Yin said, an extremely rare, unique, and coveted place to be in, a master level channeler. Jesus calls me his unicorn and has for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years. And this is one reason why. Another analogy for master level channeler that they showed me many years ago is, if you look at channelers, a master level channeler would be on the Olympics team. Other channelers could be on a college team or a high school team. A master level is going to be serving the ascended masters. They want you to know that so that you have choice to know that you are experiencing the messages from the ascended masters and also the archangels that might be using me when they want to put it in writing, put it in books, put it in YouTube, put it on social media. Put it in any live channelings. The other analogy they're giving to me, and this one I knew from when I was a child, a master level channeler exists in a state where they are in an earthly incarnation, going through all the earthly experiences like every other human being, and what Kuan Yin has told me are vulnerable to all the other frailties that all humans are vulnerable to. However, I also live at the exact same moment in a divine state because of living in a closely connected state with the ascended masters that I am here to serve. So at one moment, I live in an earthly state, and just as quickly in the next moment, I don't live quite like a human. I am the vessel and the channel for the ascended masters to speak through and to communicate through. It's a different role than it is a traditional earthling, or it would be for a average or a typical psychic medium or a typical channeler. For any advice for someone who is a channeler that wants to ascend to a higher level, they have to keep working on all of the things that I just mentioned, advancing their level of work, perseverance, dedication, devotion, obedience. Their life has to be highly, highly, highly dedicated to the guides and the angels and God that they serve, as well as living a life that has extreme dedication, discipline, and sacrifice to serving their gifts in order to keep advancing them, to continue to earn more rewards from God, to be able to be allowed further activation. For those that are psychic mediums who are not channelers, same exact advice. Channeling is not something you can just force. It is something that is earned. Kuan Yin and Jesus just said one of their intentions in sending this message is because it can seem incredulous to some people that I could get so many channeled words that are to the level of quotes from them that they wanted to speak up on this, and that it is an extremely rare situation to have a master level channeler on earth, and that you should view the writings in this capacity before you choose to disregard them, and that the messages being sent through me are intended only to help mankind by warning them of mistakes and guiding them in the directions to help protect them from making mistakes that they would live to regret, from making choices that would cause them to create karmic consequences for themselves. So, as mind-blowing as it may seem to read my blog or live channelings or hear my live channelings, you've now been enlightened, and the choice is now yours. By the way, when I do channel, and it happens pretty much on and off all day long, what I typically will experience is I will get met with these huge vibrations that begin to surround me from the outside and then often from the inside. When they enter me, I will usually get hit with these huge vibrations coming in my upper back, the back of my neck and shoulders. I will have my third eye opened and I will see them. I will see their names also spelled out, or most of the days now, because I've advanced further, I will just see them with my physical eyes start to walk through me, and I'll see them standing right in front of me in full apparition form and in full color. And then I'll see them just start to shift, going all the way behind me and enter me. They usually almost always enter me from behind. When it's angels, all of a sudden I'll just see angels come forward and these big angel wings just come all the way over me. Whenever the guides and angels come towards me and then enter me, I get lifted up. They shift my soul out. I get filled with these blissful rays of vibration. I vibrate so much. You could actually put your hands on my knees and my legs or my feet or my hands. I've done it. You could feel my body vibrating with their energy. I don't feel my body so much. I feel like I'm mostly asleep. I feel like what you might feel if you're in a hypnotic state. Sometimes I make the association with if I'm at the bottom of a swimming pool and I can't get to the top of the swimming pool. So it feels like I'm at the bottom of a swimming pool, but it actually feels really good. And I'm floating at the bottom of a swimming pool, just floating there. And it feels blissful, and it feels good, and it feels weightless. And I if I wanted to get to the top, I can't. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck there, but it's okay that I'm stuck there because the vibrations feel so loving and they feel so good. And I'm really patient because it feels so good. It doesn't feel miserable at all, so it makes it feel good. The messages that are actually nerve-wracking, that require bravery, that makes me feel anxious. But I've learned to become stronger and then just use courage to get through it, knowing that if I don't use bravery, I'm letting down that guide or angel, and I'm also letting down mankind. So I'm disciplined enough to know I don't want to make that mistake. So I keep going back into don't fail by becoming fearful. And so that keeps me back into a patient, cooperative state. And then when it's done, I feel all of a sudden this shift and I float back into my body. And it's like this feeling of floating from the bottom of a pool to floating to the top of a pool. And then all of a sudden it's like I surface up out of a pool and then I just surface back into my body. And it's like coming awake. All of a sudden it's like coming out of a sleep, out of a nap. And all of a sudden I start to come to it, but I'm really sleepy and I'm really out of it. And I don't remember what was said, but I know it felt good and positive. I know it was positive. Even though it was difficult, it was positive. And I know it made the guide or the angel inside of me pleased. I know it pleased them. And I know I did my job. So I feel good that I did my job for them. And I'm really hungry because they've used my energy. So they've used all of my physical energy, my emotional energy, depending on how long the channeling goes or how strong that guide or angel is. I'm typically always really tired for a little bit and really hungry afterwards. And then often they'll stand behind me and I'll see them put their hands on my shoulders and then they'll send me healing energy and they'll reboot me. So they'll give me the gift of sending me energy to send me energy back that they depleted from me. So they always give me back the energy that they took from me, but it doesn't happen in like a minute. It can be typically like an hour, sometimes even 2 hours, to get me back the energy that was expelled from me. It's actually a process. I like to say I make it look easier than it actually is, because there is this whole bigger drain on me than what it looks like, and I can't complain about it, and I typically don't, try not to. And they reward me by giving me energy back, and then they also reward me more if I've made them happy, like by using bravery for the tough messages. And sometimes they'll take away a headache for me later, or they'll give me more help, like help me find things through my psychic abilities, or they'll give me solutions to problems psychically really quick, really fast later. So I'll get what's called additional assistance from them as an additional gift if I've earned a bonus from them, so to speak. And yeah, they'll call it a bonus or a reward or a gift. The one thing too they're showing me is how you also know I'm channeling is I have a hard time making direct eye contact. When they take me over, because I'm not in my body, I can't always look people in the eyes, which is why my eyes will just go to this side, up to the ceiling, down below. And it's not because I'm avoiding eye contact, it's because they've taken me over. I'm not there, and I'm locked down in a position for a while until they move my face and move my eyes. So if you see me channeling and working in any capacity, that's why you don't always see me make eye contact. It's because I can't. I'm stuck. My body and my eyes are actually stuck when they take me over, and I can't move. And I'm actually sometimes aware of it a little bit, and I try to, but I'm unable to. I've always said, I love how it feels. I know it's helpful, even though it may not always feel good to hear what heaven has to say. I love my position as an advanced channeler, but I don't really want to see what I look like. And I'm grateful that I have worked through the hurdles I've worked through and didn't step away from it, and that I'm in the position I'm in, and that I get to serve the 4 top ascended masters in the universe, as well as God himself. So that's what these rings represent. These are all wedding rings from them. So I'm happy I get to sit here and say that versus saying it was too hard, it was too much work, there was too much work and discipline required, I quit, I gave up, I didn't want to be the oddball out in this world, I didn't want to be such a major minority, I didn't want to be looked at such a weirdo. I'm so glad I didn't go there. I'm so happy I did it again in this incarnation, because they've shown me the rewards I created for myself in heaven. So for being able to pull through it again for them, for me, and for you. So as hard as some of the messages are to have to read, now you know. It really is paragraph after paragraph after paragraph with me, because I really am a master level channeler, which is a very unique and rare position. And God is showing me, like a diamond in a rough, that he created this soul to be, and that he wishes to send his messages, as well as all the other messages that the guides and angels who desire to use me to you to enlighten you, to advance your level of wisdom, and to help guide and protect you. There it is. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Namaste. Blessings to all of you now and forever. Amen.